on page Kuf Mem. We could start from them. Let me see if I got the wrong place. Is that the right place? No. Right. We're on page Kuf Nun Tes. And I want to do the Lamed Base, which is at the bottom, which I had reviewed. So we'll see. It's a very interesting subject that we're going to get here to now. Sounds like big time secrets. So let me see if I could get my. This is too high. That regulator there, a little bit. So here he says the topic that we're talking about. We're going to be doing number Lamed Bet in the Hakavanot in a second. So starting on Lamed Bet on page Kuf Nun Ches, is that where we're at? Let me just check. 1 second. Where is Lamed Bet? There, okay, we're on page Kuf Nun Tes. It says, Rachel Yeredis B'Layla the Bria V'Sham Tza'o Ekes U'Meshavechas L'Hashem Yisbarach. It said that she does this all night long. So it's like that if you could get up at midnight, or if you're around at that time, and you could say the Birchos Shachar, that you're getting in on the action, I guess, so to speak. If you say a prayer or two, that's good too. So there he says, just reading the black print here. So he says, V'amnam, where it says, number Lamed Gimel. V'amnam Rachel Nekros Akaras Abayas, Nukva Amitis Dezer Anpin, Ein Lo Zivug Azai Kamoshana Eshenivar Inyana, V'hechon Makomo Ata V'Layla, where is she now at nighttime? Ki Yarda El Habria, and she went down into Bria. I believe we read this yesterday, but we could read it again. Ein Adar V'Zivug Shal Yaakov Im Rachel, who is the Keres Abayas, who is Zivug Mu'ula Yozer, Macher Shehi Keres Abayas, V'hi Iker B'chinis Hanuk, that is, that she is the Iker that becomes Zivug Lefi Shebelayla V'Yordet Yored is Rachel El Olam HaBria Kamosh Yivar L'Kamon. Let's just go on to number Lamadal. V'Rabasham Hitzo Ekes V'Sho'elas L'Hashem Yisbarach Al Churban Beis HaMikdash. The Kamosh Amber because of Kol Baram Nishma. That idea which I was so with these pasukim. Rachel B'Vakol Al B'Nahum. V'gam he no senes zmiros v'hodoyas alav kol halayla, but also she calls him, so to speak. She's calling her baila to her. V'sod elokim al demeloch. K'nizka b'zohar b'parshas lech lecha. V'ha'inyan, who the Indian is like this. He's zichavki rachel nikros elokim v'nikros kale. She's called these two things. I think kale is it. V'eidach shoketes, she never stops, she's never quiet. V'shosekes. Call Halayla, the Tamen Mishavachas Alav Yisbarach. Okay, so now we're going to go to number Lamed Bet down below, and let's see what can be done with that. One more move. Okay. So he says, go quoting this phrase, V'sham he so ekas v'sho elis l'shem Yisbarach al Churban Beis HaMikdash. Is that where we're at? Yeah, okay. So Avagam Kino Senes Zmiras V'Chodoyas Alav Kol Halayla. Yesh the Temuah, so they have to wonder about that. The Heich Yisakan Sheta'asa Rachel Be'ez U'Ba'on at that particular time. By one time, Achash Shnei Devarim Afche. What are they? Gam Litzok El Hashem Yisbarach, to cry out to him. Shehu Inyan B'chiyah V'Tzar. V'gam no Senes Zmiras V'Chodoyas Alav Shehu Inyan Shel Simcha. So how do these two go together? The Vir B'Shem and Salson explains like this: the Chakain Shnei Inyanim Elu Einim Na'azin Ke'echa, they actually do not take place at one time. Alat Sa'aka Na'az is Rak B'Nekudis Katzos Halayla. That's the part that you want to say specifically at midnight. So I think what is he talking about here? He's talking about Tikkun Chatzos. He says, mamish. Next word, mamish. Let me have a little trouble here with my, way I got this laid out. 1 second. There we go. Mamish. Sha'az nishlemacha yeridis rochel legamre bebria, so that is when she really is completely gone from Bria, into Bria rather. Avachav chitzos la'achar chitzos, sha'az chedek meparts of rochel omed still, v'ratzilus, that is the kodem chitzos daim lo nishlema yeridas. V'la'achar chitzos, and after chitzos, Gavar maschila la'alkos l'zara la'atzilus, and after it, so she starts coming back to atzilus. K'mavur l'kamon is explained up above. As gavar and nanetzo eka, so then that time after chatzos, then she and nanetzo eka, she doesn't call out. Ella, since instead now she's springing praises. No senes miros v'chodoyos. So it seems like this is some sort of devar, some support. The devar of Amad Yakel over there. I'll put a little light on my things. This is a difficult environment. He said, Yakel, Shekotam Chitzos Omrim Hamalachim Shira, because before that, this is the opposite of that. What did he say over that? The Itza Bezoer, that he says, Shekotam Chitzos Omrim Hamalachim Shira, of the Nekudas Chitzos Yesh Bechia Lamalos. It's the opposite, so to speak. But then after Chitzos, Chosen Hamalachim L'Shora. Okay, so that's right. So the Ramaz, Reb Moshe Zakuto, Kosov, he wrote like this: the Ma'ad Mishavechas he b'ma she'az machalekes mazon l'olamos bia. So he says, let me say this again. Why does she start saying thank you, basically, and saying praises? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because now the shefa is going to be distributed from the Ein Zod Baruch Hu through the Olam Sabiyah, and she starts getting sustenance. The talking ba'od Laila, where it says, and she'll get up even while it's still nighttime. Masha Boka, with the fact that she's crying here, who mifnei she'az yesh koich l'chitzonim the yanik b'mena, because then the kitzonim, when she's in Bia, that the kitzonim can get a hold of her. V'shnei devarim elu teluyim b'man zeratachtonim. So all of this goes with us. Shenishma seichem olos l'mala, that our the shamas go up above. Ma seichem nechtavim v'nechtamim, and what they actually did are written down and sealed. The bekoich ha'torah b'masim tovim himashpaz shefa l'cholamos u'mishavechas, its throat pours out then shefa to olamos, the hidden worlds of mishavechas, and they say thank you. Because of that, Yom Kippur, at the same time, you had the Chitzonim start coming back, and because of that, Hiboka, or maybe it means that just, that's the way that it is. Okay, so now we're going to go into another area, which I didn't get a chance to look at, so this is like exploratory. I like, without the proper navigation, but here we go. He says, Tom, his lavshos ragle Leah bekesed the Rachel. Now there's a question, why is the reason we've seen that they exactly connect like that? Now we're talking about in the middle of the night. So he says, Abir devarim elu, whose explanation is, ki hine noidim masha kased b'shar pesukim, pasha v'yetzei, al pasad v'signov Rachel as atrafim. Well, that sounds like, really a deep kind of idea here. Is a pasuk ekev anava yiras Hashem. So I'm not sure that pasuk either. So if ayin sham hativ ma'od, on these two pasukim, this all gets going. Ki shem Hashem nizboyer eich ragle Leah v'akavayim shalom, and how it is that her heels, so to speak, heim neknasim islavshim toch kased the Rachel, how they, in fact, they connect with Rachel. They're inside of her, panimi to her, in her head. The Zeranpin, so the whole place where this is taking place is in the Chagat of Zeranpin. This, I assume that's what he means by the Chagat of Zeranpin, we'll see. The Nemsaki Shir Kumas Leah Rachel Heimzu Al Gabizu. For the Kilaz of Minadas and his Chaltam, his Chalasam, I guess. Minadas, where they begin, is from the place of the Das, and say that's in the neck, the Zeranpin. Ad siyum nai shalo, all the way down to the very bottom of Zeir Anpin. Let me get this a little bit different here. And but they themselves, notice I don't think I read this before, they themselves are yoser ruchos, they're longer than this. Ugevochos mishir zeh. The feet shema kesed the rachel lo choyim malvish as ragle Leah, because in other words she has to be, she's longer than this definition he's giving us. He says he malvish as ragle Leah, if it has to be inside of ragle Leah, that's how it could work out. But her feet really is down below, underneath the feet of Leah. Hoya ragle rachel tzrichen his pashet. Yosa the matam and ragle Zeir Anpin, she would be down below the feet of Zeir Anpin. So therefore, v'hechrach choyse nekneses begavul olam habriya. So therefore, she has to go into olam habriya. Now, this is a very mysterious piece. I need to get just a little bit of water. Let's see, where will my water be? There it is. Okay, so this very interesting sounding piece. Let me see if how I could do this better. One moment. Okay, so now let's start reading. This is note number Lamed Hey. Lamed Hey in the column. So Lamed says, "Bibir devarim eluhu, maskil devar inyan yuridis rachel al habriya bolaylo." I guess we could go to the light print over here on number Lamed Vav. He said, "Makom amidas Leah hu achrei Zeir Anpin." Mikeneged the das shebarosho, vad keneged siyum shlish soy to Teves, and so to the chaza shehei makom hatibor. So here he says vad keneged siyum shlish soy until it reaches the middle line, which is the Teves, which is, he says, this is the middle of this is the tibor. Okay, ve'elach b'makom amidas rachel. So first of all, at least for me, this was a little chiddush here. He says that Leah is actually longer than Rachel. So that's to accomplish the fact that she's going to have to be inside of Rachel to a certain extent, because Rachel begins up above at the chazet. So again, they give V'ad Keneged Siyum Shlishem Soy to Teves, which is the Makom Atibor. Ve'ed Makom Amidas Rachel, that starts up above that, Mekeneged Chazet is there on Pin Shahu Techilas Shlishem Soy to Teves, which is at the beginning of the first shlish. V'ad Keneged Siyum Ragle Zeir Anpin, until it reaches down to the bottom of Zeir Anpin. Nimsa Shebemakom Shekeneged Shlishem Soy. So let's go to focus on that place there. Shalat Teves Ma'achrei Zeir Anpin, which is on the back of Zeir Anpin. He says, Nimsoim came Ragle Leah v'chem Hakesa the Rachel. So we find that there you have these two things going together at the same place. The feet of Leah and the Keser of Rachel. V'chasedehu sheragle Leah mislavshim b'toch Hakesa the Rachel. That's how this actually goes. Okay, now I'm interested in what happened with these trophim that he was talking about. What's that all about? So he says in the light print, number Lamed Zion, he says, Nimsa comes out like this. Shashir kumas Rachel v'Leah yachdav kushuchamed zu al gabe zu. If you just put one on top of the next, hukashir kumas Zeir Anpin min hadash shalo ad siyam raglov. So that's where it actually goes. Chein masher amarna shashir kumas Rachel v'Leah kum hadas v'ad siyam ragle Zeir Anpin zechu davka ba'ofen k'niskar sheragle Leah meluvashus toch hakasa de Rachel. Avach b'tzad shir kumalsacha be'etzem either u'choy omeda zu al gabe zu mamish below shi'al bisha zu al zu. He shir kumalsacha godel b'shir zes is going to be bigger, she's going to be taller. Number Lamates. Lamates says, Vilu choiser v'rochel metechim maschelas the halvish as their anpin. So if she would have started clothing their anpin, rak v'siyam ragle Leah only at the beginning there, if there wasn't no, she was not in between, both in zecher became ragle v'rochel mistayem is the mat b'ragle their anpin. So then it wouldn't work out to be a match over there. But Kaven Sharagle their anpin this time at the sof olam atzilos. This would mean that Rachel would be permanently, in some way, into Bria. Memela hoy ragle Rachel srichos dilere leolam abria ashetachos ragle zer anpen. Number Mem. Now I'm really still looking for the one about the Terafim. I know there's discussion of that. So he says, I think we're on the word v'lakach. So now we're on number Mem, and we're going to say lakach. Lakach na'aseh chadav chazeh shekasev shalo, shekeser shalo yalbish as ragle Leah. So he says that it should cover over the ragle Leah, v'lo yitztarek makom b'fnei atzmecha b'chol keser Rachel, so it doesn't have to have a place which is individuated just for Rachel. Ba'al yedei kach lo titztarek lehispashet v'lehikones ba'olam abriya, for this reason doesn't have to go into Abrim. Ta'amhod ba'olam atzilus, that she could be in atzilus completely. V'yira raglecho v'ragle zah shavin. Okay, so we can understand that. So he says now, b'kidei shelo titztarek Rachel l'redes el olam abriya, so that it wouldn't have to be that Rachel would go down into olam abriya. V'tuchel lehishaker b'chatzilus, and she could stay there. Mislavshin ragle Leah toch keser the Rachel. Now this is a whole different reason that I just knew that was a fact in another way, but the fact that their lengths actually, that Leah is actually, it contradicts a lot of things that, in my regional impressions of this. Vayedech v'zech v'ragle Rachel v'ragle zam b'stayim and b'shava b'siyam olav atzilus v'chein kol zeh b'ku ha'seder ha'rogel Tomid, a Rogel Tomid, Olam B'Tefidas Arvis. Let's go back to this, of the Meshach Halayla, Mishtana Seder Zeh, Ukod Lahalon. And we're going to start talking about that. Now, let's look at a little bit more of this. And it says like this. So it didn't answer the thing about the Terafim. I think maybe we saw something. I don't know if you remember. I don't. It says, Ba'arvis na'asa zivog Yaakov and Leah mechachazav l'mamala. So, that's a good one. This is a real good one. Let's see what he says in the, I'm just going to read the black print only up above. So he said, V'hine noida, excuse me, should b'defilas arvis hazivog hu is Yaakov and Leah. We said that earlier. The lefi shebihiyos Leah ba'achri zer anpin, he adechazer shalo belvad, and that because of that fact, she's only at his chaz. And I just said that Leah actually by herself goes all the way down to the tibur, but let's say that that's where she goes, and he gave a reason that lefi shebihiyos Leah ba'achri zer anpin, then she starts at his chaz, or she goes, she's ad hachazer shalo. Im came gan b'chazarasach b'panim is daviging Yaakov. So since that's the case, then she's going to have to go around face to face to be with Yaakov. Inim is peshetes rak adachazach deser anpin bilvad. And that's the reason why, because I don't know why. Because where is Yaakov? Yaakov is from the chaz of Lamata. So here Yaakov is going to have. I've seen this before. I don't know if we've learned this before. The Yaakov is going to have to, go up above the Chaza Lamala. That's what it said. It says Leah b'Chaza Olamala. So let's just read this little part here, and then we'll see if I can do something with the Sifra Tzniuta maybe. So let's see. This was number Mem Aleph. Mem Aleph down below, in the light print only. He says Haziva v'Naasa b'Tefilas Arvis. Sim Shalom. So this is the normal order of the Yichud. Who's Ziv of the Yaakov and Leah. V'nakdim, now he wants to bring a little beginning here, so a little introduction. He says, Shabalayla na'asav shnei zivukim di Yaakov and Leah. Zivug echad, na'asav b'tefilas arvis, one yichud takes place at arvis ka'amor, as we saying. V'zivug sheni na'asach l'achar mikan b'chatzos halayla, and then there's another one that takes place at chatzos. V'yesh hevdel bein shnecha zivugim halalu. Now, what is the difference? The bezivug na'asav b'tefilas arvis, Shir kumas Yaakov Leah, who minachaz of the zer anpin alamala. Let's read it again. At Arvis, where they're actually standing is at kumas Yaakov Leah, who minachaz of the zer anpin alamala. Shazecha b'shir kumazach rogel shal Leah, because that's where Leah normally would be seen from that area. But not Yaakov. The hinechet b'makom amidas Leah tadir ku achrezer anpen from the chaz lamala. Now he just told us that she's actually covered over by Leah by Rachel at the bottom of her, but that's not his point here. Is that the active point of her right now at this point at Marav is for the chaz lamala. Malcolm amidas Yaakov. But what about that? Who b'panan is their anpen b'chaz lamata? So now comes Leah. El Sad Hapana de Zer Anpin, she comes around to the front of Zer Anpin. Now he's not describing here the mechanism, the actual steps that are involved in her coming around to the front, but she does. I don't think he does. V'ata ba Leah el Sad Hapana de Zer Anpin v'Yakov Ma'ola M'makom b'shetachas el Ma'al HaChaza, so he actually moves himself up. He gathers, so to speak, that Leah, from the Zat, which is his normal place, and he folds himself up in such a way that he moves up, and he's now from the Chaza Lamala. V'sham is the Avkim Yaakov Leah mechachaza dezer anpil Lamala. Nimsa shir kumazach akum mechachaza Lamala dezer anpin, so this is where everything is happening. Now he's got to have a little bit more here. Let's see what else he says. Ulan the cross of Zivug Hasheni to Chatzos Halayla. Now you come to another yichud. This is at Chatzos Halayla. Nigdalim Yaakov grows up. V'Leah kakol shir kuma zer anpin. So it's the entire length of zer anpin then, because gefi sheyavur b'smoch, and we're about to explain this. B'chazivug the Yaakov Leah b'chatzos halayla na'asa b'shir kol kumas zer anpin. So this is something not for us not to forget. Let's see number mem base. So I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to go on and mem base a little bit more. So mem base says like this. I guess let's read mem base. Let's read the black print a little bit here. Black print says, "The fish behiyos Leah ba'achri zer anpen, he ad chazer shelo bilvad, im came gam b'chazaron upon him." So since she's her normal place would be only the chaza, therefore when she comes around to the front, she comes around onto that same area. B'chazaron upon him is davig Yaakov. In this rock, she doesn't spread all the way down, even though at midnight Rachel is absent from the back of Zer Anpin, or she's absent. She condenses herself up into or she just takes that size, and she's going to be condensed to the chaza from the up until the chaza. The chaza the Zer Anpin bilvad. Let's get a little bit of explanation. He says, "Be'ez zivug Yaakov Leah na'azach b'tfilas arvis, shir kumas Leah ku mechachaza dezer anpin alamal." That's her place. The kaven shekain ku shir kumas ba'oda omeda ba'achre zer anpin. The chain gam be'ez shachozera zebal b'pana dezer anpin l'tzorach zivug im Yaakov na'azach b'pana dezer anpin. Lo mishtana shir kumasa, she's not going to change her size. V'nishach b'shir harishon mechachaz lamala, and so now her action is going to be all in that same place. Reading number mem gimel now. V'achar tefilas arvis choseres leah l'makoma ach ba'ach, Gavat Achilachim Zer Anpin. So now she's going to go back. Let me see. V'achar Tefilas Arvis Choseres Leah to go back to her original place. La'achar Shena'asel Zivid Yaakov and Leah B'nei Zer Anpin. B'Tefilas Arvis Choseres Leah La'amod B'Mekom Rishon B'achar Zer Anpin V'Chahos Lamata. And then she ended Medis, and she's now standing Ach Ba'achim Zer Anpin. Hanan Achre Leah Klape Achre Zer Anpin. Okay, so he spelled it out. One more. He says a Nimso. So it comes out of a Nimso. Oz Leah V'Rachel Shtechem Ach Ba'ach Im Zer Anpin. So now at this point you have both of them Ach Ba'ach Zer Anpin. I thought Rachel was in Bia. So in Bria. Lefi Shem says, so he says, Lefi Shem Rachel. 1 second. Lefi Shem Rachel Omedes Im Zer Anpin Ach Ba'ach Agam Be'ez Tefilas Arvis, because she was still there at Tefilas Arvis. Kichazivag Lo Hoya Rak Yaakov Leah Kenisker, because you only have then, there's nothing, it doesn't affect her. Now the implications of having a Yichud at Marav between Yaakov and Leah, I'm not sure that I really can understand, what the significance of it for me is at this time, as of this time. So he said, Antach la'achar tefilas arvis, omedes Rachel v'Leah shtechem ach ba'ach im zer anpin. Shkeim Rachel nish'ara kol ha'ez gam be'ez tefilas arvis, and this is her place, and she's still going to be there. Achre zer anpin b'chahaz lamata. The Visha Ahmed She'imon Locha B'Na'as Ziva B'Tefilas Arvis. There's not going to be any Yichud over here. V'gam Leah She'avracha La'amu B'Ponah Zer Anpin, that she came around and now she's on the face of Zer Anpin, Tefilas Arvis. Chazracha Ke'ez La'amud Ach Ba'ach in Zer Anpin. She comes out now to be standing Ach Ba'ach. She's going to be back to Ach Ba'ach with Zer Anpin. I guess we're going to stop right here. This is a very interesting story, and I'm still looking for the Trophim. I know that it's talked about, but I don't know what it's about. Today's the 27th, I think, the 27th of Teves, 85. Okay. All right.